Good evening and welcome. Today is Wednesday, June the 19th, 2019, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. First item on the agenda, addenda. Anything to add?
No, sir. Nothing else to add tonight.
Very good. We'll move into the public hearings. First being BAR 1923. Jeffrey.
The applicant is seeking approval to make several changes to the buildings at 604 South McDuffie Street and 119 East Reed Street in the downtown historic district. The property is the Wilhite House and a neighboring brick house on the same property. And so, you're familiar with the Wilhite House. And then on the back part of the property, there's an additional brick dwelling. We'll start with the Reed Street house, and they have put together a nice packet here identifying each of the items as we go along, so I'm going to kind of follow along with that. The applicant is seeking to make a number of changes to the house and grounds for 119 East Reed Street. Not all of these technically are going to require board approval, but we want to go through the whole packet to show you everything that they're doing. The applicant is seeking approval for the following items. There's sort of a small decline in the back of the property there. I want to basically fill that in and add a little retaining wall to correct erosion problems. And as we go through, you'll see that there's some material items further down in the packet that will kind of show the stone and everything that they're looking to do there. On the back of the Reed Street house, that is currently vinyl siding. They want to remove that and replace it with hardy board in the same dimension to be painted yellow like the rest of the house. That we'll get to with the color in a moment. And then number 3, in this open area here below the steps, they want to add a small deck at the back door and cover the eroding concrete slab. The deck would be approximately 12 by 12 feet. They want to replace the existing exterior door. And on the side of the house, and so this would be Reed Street here, and then the Wilhite House is back to the right. They want to put in a door here that is currently missing. They want to repaint the house, and the color samples are going around. You have a sort of a pale yellow color for the body of the house with white trim, and then the black crawl space fence and black doors is what they would be painting the doors. They also want to install a paver driveway on the side of the house here. And then we'd like to add a 12 by 12 paver patio in the rear yard. And then this is existing here. The brick house is here. The Wilhite house is just off to the side here. They want to do a pergola and outdoor sort of kitchen grilling area where that existing patio is now. In terms of the Wilhite house itself, you have this deck that was added at some point in time. They would like to remove that and add a paver patio in its place. Again, we've got the material samples here. They have the stone for the retaining wall, the hardy board that they would be looking to do, the exterior door, 2 doors of the same, one on the side, one on the back. Paver materials for the 2 different paving areas. Pergola, a little dark, but pergola over the patio that we discussed as well. Let's see. All the rest are pictures. And when reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 4 for original materials, Chapter 5 for historic resources, and Chapter 10 for colors. In terms of the demolition of the deck, there's no, this is in the commercial district, and so there are no guidelines for demolition in that. We use the residential demolition guidelines as a way to frame the conversation, but again, that's just a framework and not a regulatory thing for the demolition. I won't go through all those. Under Article 4, policy, original building materials should be preserved in place whenever feasible. Maintain existing wall materials and textures. The next policy states that deteriorated building materials should be repaired rather than replaced whenever possible. It says to repair deteriorated primary building materials by patching, piecing in, consolidating, or reinforcing the materials. Next policy, original building materials that have deteriorated beyond repair should be replaced in kind. Match the original in composition, scale, and finish, and do not use synthetic materials such as aluminum, vinyl siding, or panelized brick. Masonry construction should be preserved in its original condition. Masonry that was not painted historically should not be painted. There's a section on windows and doors, again, talking about the importance of the window openings, and they should be maintained. Finally, with colors, use colors to tie together the entire storefront. And when choosing a color, consider the context or major colors on the surrounding buildings. You have in terms of the colors, you have one neighboring house that is yellow, and of course you have the color scheme for the Wilhite house, which is sort of a light green color. So, with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicants are here tonight as well.
Great. And the photos and the package really helped. Thank you very much. Questions for you, Jeff, before we get into the discussion. The material, the actual specs on the door. Saw that, but you go through that with us.
On the door itself?
The doors themselves. Okay, so these are steel doors. One I know is on the back and one's on the side, is it?
So you're replacing the door in the back?
Yes, sir. The back of the house currently has a door that is in very bad repair. The side of the house has no door and it's covered with plywood.
Okay.
We would like to put something besides plywood on the side of the house.
Sure.
And we want them to match since they're both kind of in the same region of the house.
Sure.
So this is the one that's missing on you're looking at it from Reed Street, on the right-hand side of the house, and then the other door is at the back of the property, right there in this location.
With the nature design and age of the house, why not a wooden door? Why not wooden doors?
We were looking for the security, plus with the doors in the Wilhite house being so much glass in them, we were looking for a door that also kind of complemented that, which we found in this door. We were trying to give a complement between the two houses as well as our neighbor, which is why we're talking about the color scheme and these doors, trying to tie it together.
But couldn't you get that same light with wooden doors?
We have not found a wooden door similar to this that has that much light, sir.
Okay, I'm sure there'll be more discussion on that. Thank you. And the pergola, is that going to be stained, left natural, painted? The pergola. Stained, natural, painted? And there's so much reference to the Wilhite house. Is there a connection between this house and the Wilhite?
They were at one point the same property.
Okay.
They were divided when it was bought and refurbished, and we bought both of them so that we could maintain it together again.
All right. And what use do you intend for this, if I may ask? This house?
Right now, we're going to use it as a guest residence. In the future, when we can no longer maintain the Wilhite house due to the age or circumstance, we plan on living there.
And I guess, go ahead and address, can't quite tell from the photos, but painting this brick. Why are we looking to do that?
The brick had gaping holes in it, feet wide. Those were repaired. They also, at one point in time, on the side where the door is missing, had a deck off it. So there are holes all along it. There were cracks all through it that we repaired. And the problem is matching that brick and the condition a lot of it was in, it looks bad. It's just a bad look and will never look proper as a brick structure. I'm not a fan of painting brick. However, in this particular scenario, I don't see another option to make it not be a blight on the neighborhood.
And these photos are at the back of the house only or the side as well?
This is the side of the house, opposite of the missing door.
There's examples of this all around the house.
Okay, okay. And do you, Jeff, you don't have, by any chance, have an aerial or a, some sort of plat showing the relation of this house to Willite?
I don't, but I can,
I don't know if I can quite follow where everything is in connection.
On the left,
Yeah.
the back corner.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
you know where the Wilhite house is?
Right, yes.
And the side yard goes to Reed Street?
basically it's
It's
like
the
that.
first house on Reed Street by the lawn.
So this would be the Wilhite house.
Mhm.
You turn on Reed Street and it's right behind it here. And then
Is there any-
the house is right behind it, and then our city building is right behind that.
I can't recall, is there anything else to the left of the Willite? Or it takes up the entire front block, doesn't it? Okay, all right. That's, okay,
It's open yard.
yeah. All right, thanks for the clarifications. Questions, discussion? Mary Lou?
I do know that wooden doors like that are available. We found one for our old house. Not sure what exactly you're looking, what features you said you couldn't find it in a wooden door, but that's like a French type door. And you can get those in.
We could have not found one, but then again, our search was at Lowe's, our search was at Home Depot. If you have a suggestion of where we may look, other than that, I would be more than happy to make that wooden if I could find it.
Building supply places,
House,
81 lumber.
the House of Doors in Livonia. I bought 2 full sets there, mahogany. They've got other
The
things,
issue, I will happily make it wood.
and they don't deliver, but you'd have to go pick them up.
Yeah, wonderful stores, but perhaps even like the locally at 84 lumber. You have to order it. But possibly order it, sure.
I think even Lowe's, do go in special order.
Mhm.
And you may be able to find a salvage store, especially for the ones where there's just plywood. You're gonna have to put a new frame anyway. It's possible that a salvage, and there are a lot of good places around to find.
We were looking for new, mainly so that they would match.
Other comments, questions?
What is the age of this house?
How old is this house?
It was built in the 40s.
I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And I went in this house while they were redoing the Will house recently, most recent redoing. And I mean, it was, just amazing, how much need of repair it had, and so wonderful that you all are going to do that. I rode by today, and it especially on the front, the brick is so pretty, but with the repairs that you all have done, thank goodness, it almost has to be painted. My concern, because I read yellow and had not seen paint samples till we got here, but since it is the same property as the Wilhite, if you didn't even, my suggestion was, although this color scheme is lovely, it looked to me like it made it go with the yellow house behind it on the next property and did not tie in at all, whereas even if it was the color, the color on the trim on the Wilhite house is actually a pale, not yellow, a pale cream color, it's not white. And even just substituting this for the color that is on the trim would tie it together. Or I wonder why you would not want to paint it the same colors as the Wilhite house.
The house next to us, which is also yellow, they're all very close together there as they merge into the back. And we were trying to take that color plus the black of the doors, which is one of the big features of the Wilhite house, and kind of make the 3 of those look cohesive was our thought.
The and that's how we came up.
Well, that's my only concern, is that it didn't look like it was part of the property, and
Is that inside a
didn't
fenced
feel.
area? Is that house inside the fenced area of the well?
The Wilhite House is, Reed Street is not.
Other comment?
Jeff, can you go back to the eroding slab, where they want to add that slab?
Or they want to add the pergola?
No, the slab outside that door, they want to put the
With
deck. Right there.
The deck behind, below the door here?
Yes. That's gonna be a wood deck?
Wood deck.
It's gonna be a wood deck, and you can see that slab that's there.
Yeah.
There's a piece of the slab that's very good. The piece that you just pointed to was added on later and is not in good shape at all. So what we'd like to do is bring the deck and the porch and just cover that little piece of the slab along with, so that from that back door you can access it. That's gonna be a cooking kitchen, and that way from the kitchen, which is right off that door, we can go out onto that area.
So you're gonna put the wood over the top of this
Just
damaged
over
concrete?
that in piece of the slab, it's gonna go from that slab to the back door.
And this outdoor kitchen, now this is the back of the house or the side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the back.
Unviewable from the street.
And basically, what's this kitchen, what do you anticipate it looking like, or how are you looking to set it up?
It'll be a grill, a smoker, you know, it's going to be, an outdoor kitchen. We'll have a little, refrigerator out there.
I mean, so built, drop-in refrigerators, counters, or
Yes.
or
It's gonna
freestanding?
be the full, with the countertops and the whole bit there.
And then what would that material be?
It's gonna be aluminum frame with cement board, and then on the outside, the, stone.
Okay. You have a sample of that stone?
No, sir.
What are you thinking of? What are you thinking in the way of stone there?
I don't know
I
the
mean-
name of it, it's very common on outdoor kitchens, and I wish I knew the name, but I do not.
Is it a stacked stone or
It's
flat?
a stone face that are rectangular stone face that is gonna be brought up the side of up to the countertop.
Sounds like what Dean did behind his house over there off Whitman.
Okay. What else, folks? Further questions, concerns, comments?
Can we go line by line?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm really concerned about.
Okay, go, on.
I'm really concerned, having just ridden by there, about the yellow, unless this is the exact color that your neighbor's using, you're gonna look like you tried to match and you missed, and I think that's a big concern to me. I love the color, the idea, but that it doesn't relate as the guest house to the Wilhite house. And
We're not necessarily trying to make them look as the same property. That is not the intent, we're trying to tie it together so they all look cohesive. But I want it to look as if it is a separate home from Willow.
I think it's going to look like you tried to match your neighbor's house and missed, unless this was the color they used and they gave it to you, and then it'll look like you are matching your neighbor's house, which, I mean, that's your choice. But I really feel that that is something that you might want to revisit.
Okay. Bill, anything further? Concerns on your part?
Just as we go through these, can we go line by line?
Okay, sure. All right. Well, I mean, do you have questions to them, or do we want to do voting on, I mean, there are 9 items here. Do you want to vote on each 9?
Well, there's certain,
Okay, where's your concern? And I'll pull that up separately.
doors is the one concern.
Okay, all right,
Wood.
okay. Well, I believe Mr. Stevenson's indicated that you would do wood doors, you would modify your application for wood doors. Okay,
That was the only one I really had.
okay. Except for Amanda's concern on color coordination and the block, anything else outstanding? Yeah.
Well, what you were talking about, the stone on the wall, and it's going to be right there adjoining,
Mhm.
if I understand, adjoining the painted house, that we ought to see
Okay.
a piece of that.
What's your timetable on the outdoor kitchen?
That is gonna be towards the end of our project.
That's something that
Not
could,
be within the next 12 months.
Okay, then can we do this? Can we leave the application open and have you come back
when you're ready
when
to
it's convenient for you with stone samples just to make sure? Because that is something that would fall under our purview. All right, excellent.
If we need to change the color of the house, we were willing to do that. It's not a preference, but we do it.
I had to admit, that was my first concern when I saw the yellow too. I was thinking it should be the same yellow as the trim on the house. Just to make it more cohesive and not to fight the yellow on the other house.
And that was my first concern. And the second, I rode around the block about 3 times, and I'm familiar with the area, but I just kept looking at it because it just, it's the big yellow painted brick house that almost adjoins the back of that. That it's gonna, it could really.
What would you suggest that might be better?
Well, I don't know, I think to pick something that would match the Wilhite house, not exactly
like the,
trim color of the Wilhite house.
you mean more like the trim color of the Wilhite house?
Can we see a picture of the Wilhite house? Did you have a color picture?
Mhm. I don't know how accurate the color photograph is going to be there.
It's pretty,
It's a cream.
yeah, it's not a yellow, it's
Not yellow,
cream. It's an attractive color.
Isn't it? What about the front of the house?
Yeah, not yellow at all.
It's definitely a cream, it's not a yellow.
I'm not one to pick out colors for, I'm always cautious on doing that on this board. But I'll toss up for what it's worth, perhaps a darker shade of the Willite House color. Because I can see the reluctance on the trim color, that's awfully light. I mean, I toss that out as a thought,
Or even the
but again,
the same or darker.
This is very light green, very light green.
I can certainly look in our files and see if I have the color chips from when they repainted this to just see what we have in terms of the colors for that.
Will I have?
Right.
I have such a pink, but I do that.
all right. Let's put at this for this moment in time the paint color aside. For the Reed Street house, there is adding the 3-foot retaining wall material that we've seen seem to be reasonable and appropriate. Replacing vinyl siding with hardy board, always favorable on our part, and that would be painted the color of whatever the house is. Adding the small deck off the back seemed to make some sense. Talk about wooden material. Again, if that can be painted or natural. With a sealant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Replacing the exterior and the missing doors. You've indicated modifying this to have wooden doors. Thank you very much. We'll, as we said, we'll pass over 6 right now on the paint of the house. Installing the paver driveway seems to make perfect sense. Patio grill, we're fine with the idea, I think. Just we'll come back with the materials. The pergola, is that down the road as well, or do you want approval for that as well tonight?
The pergola and the kitchen will be done together.
Okay, all right, so then we'll hold off on 9.
The first thing, actually,
Sure. Well, okay, what I want to do is, I want to get a vote on what we can, and we'll come back to the other. So items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 for the East Reed Street house. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion from Bill, a second, Mary Lou. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Now, let's see if we can wrap up our discussion and make a decision as to the color.
Do we do the?
Jeff?
Do we do the Willite House with the removal of the deck? Was that part of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Jeff, if you would remind us on guidelines for us on color, what our roles, responsibilities, and limits are.
I mean, really, what it says is very
I know,
language in,
I understand.
let's see. It just says, use colors to tie together the entire storefront, and when choosing a color, consider the context or major colors on the surrounding buildings. Again, this is language from the commercial guidelines rather than the residential
Okay,
guidelines.
if it were in the residential,
It just talks about having neutral colors. Any bright color should be reserved for accent features only. And so,
okay, that's what I thought, it just wanted a reminder. All right, folks,
Well, I mean, certainly, you know, this is an attractive color scheme. It's the surrounding buildings, and I'm just saying that I would suggest that you reconsider and revisit that because I think it's, I don't even know how to explain what I'm saying, that it's going to look like it's attached to the yellow one behind, but that you missed the color.
well, we'll just go with the, you know, like, little paint green with white and green.
Oh, like the Will Height house. I think you would, in the end, would be much more satisfied.
Guest house.
Which is what we were trying to get away from.
Right, that's, you're trying to get away from
Renters live
that.
there, and in the future, when we retire and we manage this, there'll be 2 properties, and we'll live in one.
Right.
So we were doing that.
right. And that's, I mean, I understand that, and I appreciate that. That's where possibly, again, not wanting to suggest color, don't know that that's my role, but to address Amanda's concerns, maybe even a darker shade, if you were to be so inclined, of the Willite House, creating some separation, but perhaps tying in. I tossed that out, for what it's worth.
And I'm not saying absolutely don't do this. I'm just suggesting that I think the way it's going to look with the surrounding buildings, I don't think it's going to look,
Yellow houses right there side by side
yeah.
is
I
not
think you-
really something we would probably ever want to see.
So let me ask you this.
What would you consider, if it were a light gray with a white trim and the black doors?
That'd be great.
Great.
It's really the big yellow behind.
Let's amend our application to be light gray, white trim, and black doors. That'll solve all the concerns.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. All right, so with that modification to item number 6, motion to approve. Amanda, thank you. Second, John. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Now finally, as to 604, the actual Willite House, removing the rear deck and adding paver patio in its place. I take it would be the same pavers that we've seen before.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve. Jill, second. Mary Lou, all in favor?
Aye.
Again, thank you very much for your patience and working with us. You've done a wonderful job, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Next, we have BAR 1924.
The applicant is seeking approval for a new sign at 314 South Main Street in the Downtown Historic District. Property is the new home of Tracy Starr Home. A new 42-inch diameter circular hanging sign would be added above the door. The middle portion around the star is a cutout that can be seen through, so that's hollowed out in the middle there. It's not just a white background, it's actually a hole in the middle of the sign. You have the round sign with the star in the middle. The sign would match the materials of the bark sign previously approved by the board. There's no information at this time about any vinyl graphics for the doors or windows. We're reviewing this application. The board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, which are design guidelines for signs. Following sections apply to this request. The first policy states to design a sign to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Appropriate signs include the hanging sign being considered, and the sign should be in character with the material, color, and detail of a building. The board must decide the proposed building change meets the above criteria. A sign permit would be required prior to installation of the sign. Happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is present tonight as well.
Looks very attractive. As the material is simply by reference to the bark sign, remind us that.
It's sort of a routed out HDU type material, so it's something we've approved several times.
Very good. Questions, comments?
I have a question. What is that? Kind of business?
I think it's home furnishing.
Home decor, gifts, and furniture.
Oh, great.
The optional LED lighting, the decision on that, is it gonna be?
There is lighting here built into the sign frame.
Okay.
Small LED lighting that would shine down on the sign face.
Very attractive.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Attractive sign material we've approved in the past. Indirect lighting, meeting guidelines, concerns? Motion from Jill? That one? Motion to approve from Jill, second from Amanda. Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? Welcome to downtown. When do you look to open?
September.
Wonderful, all the best. Now on to BAR 1925.
I think applicant is requesting approval for new doors on the property at 1404 North Boulevard in the Boulevard Historic District. The property is the home of Central Presbyterian Church. The applicant is seeking to change out a set of double doors located at this portion of the building on the Sunday School building facing Hiawatha. The current doors are wood doors with 9 panes of glass at the top half of the door. The church has identified this as a security weakness for the church, being next to the nursery. The church is seeking to replace these doors with new metal and glass doors, as shown in the attachment. As you see here, it'd be a set of that as a replacement. New doors would remain white in color. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 3, which are for historic resources. The following sections apply to this request. The policy states to preserve the size and shape of historically significant windows and doors. Repair a deteriorated window or door instead of replacing it or enclosing the opening altogether. And replace a window or door that is damaged beyond repair with one similar to that seen historically. The board must decide if the proposed changes meet the above criteria. I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
The sample showing on the board now, that's not on the property, is it?
No, that's just from the supplier.
Yeah. Wooden door, metal doors, I mean, at a church, are we talking residential, are we talking commercial? Thoughts, comments, questions?
Are there any other doors to be replaced anywhere else in the building?
Not at this time.
Are there more
This
doors?
is the one vulnerable spot that was identified by the security review.
Right.
I understand the fact about it being more secure.
Mhm.
The little kids in there. Not an exact replacement, but will make it more secure.
I wonder if there is one, this looks sort of contemporary, if there is a metal, and minimum, the glass being not, so you can't break the glass and you can't reach in and get to the handle and all. If there's one that would look a little more in keeping with, like even if it had, this is 2, 2/2, if it was even, 3, if,
Well, but I mean, what I like about this choice, this is basically a 6-panel door, and the upper 4 panels are replaced with glass.
so it really is, it's hard to tell on
Yeah,
this.
if you look over here, you see
bottom
the
bits,
shades?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a crossing model door.
right.
That they
Okay,
replaced with
Jeff,
glass.
back it out a little bit, because when you blow it up, shading's gone,
Yeah, there we go.
okay? Here.
And I like, because the panels do repeat. That helps.
Mm-hmm.
For church, cross.
Here, I
Yeah.
have another copy that might be generations earlier.
You can see a little better on here on the left-hand side, the 2 panels on each side.
Yeah, and I could not see that.
Well, there's always a question, wooden doors and metal doors, but here, this is not on a home.
Yeah.
And I think with the 2 bottom panels, it's an appropriate design choice for not only design, but also function. I'm okay with this on my end.
I did not see
Yeah.
that.
And it was difficult to see. Anything else, folks? Is there a motion? We have a motion from Bill to approve, second. Mary Lou, anything further? John, you okay?
I'm just concerned, we just told a couple today. He mentioned security in the neighborhood and wanted to put on a steel door
Right.
in the back of the house, which is invisible.
Well, and I agree, I mean, that's why, I first made some distinction, residential versus commercial. And I think we've been fairly consistent with that, to my recollection.
Correct.
Right.
But I didn't see anything that prohibited the steel door in our guidelines.
Okay.
The problem is it's a good looking set of doors for this, probably.
Indeed. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Now on to BAR 1926. You all have a color packet for you. Jeff, walk us through this, please.
The applicant is seeking approval to make changes to 3 buildings on their campus at 316 Boulevard in the Boulevard Historic District. The property is a home of Anderson University. I'm going to break it down really into 2 sections, because you have Pratt and Denmark, which they're identical changes to, and then Merritt, which is a different set of changes. So this is the front of Denmark. And Pratt is identical to this. There's a close-up of the front. And that would be the rear of the building as it sits right now. Now, the applicant is seeking to remove this existing awning entryway and construct a new facade on the rear of the building. The new facade would include a vertical cast stone feature, which, let me find it in here. So you remove that awning and you put this in its place. Vertical cast stone feature, this would be a new window. It would still basically go through the same entry. It would just be a deeper window opening at that point, with a new replacement window in it, and a new entryway trim matching that on the front of the building. The changes for Pratt and Denmark are identical. So basically, this would mimic what you have out in the front of the building now. So from that to this. And again, the same for Pratt Hall as well. In terms of merit, this is the front of Merit today. This is the back of Merit. The applicant is seeking to demolish these newer additions that were put on to the building at an earlier time period. And they would then build and construct a new open-air covered patio. That you see here. The base of the new addition would be cast stone. The roof would have shingles to match the main building, white synthetic square columns, white aluminum railings, and light posts to match those on the rest of the campus. Again, you have the complete set of drawing details that I passed out prior to the meeting. Approval of the demolition portion is subject to the guidelines of Chapter 3 of the Residential Design Guidelines. I won't go through all those in detail. I think I'm missing a page here, so. Okay, here we go. So then you have the first policy, preserve the size and shape of historically significant windows and doors. Again, with the new window or the enhanced window openings on the back of Pratt and Denmark. Again, repair deteriorated items instead of replacing them altogether. Replace a window or door that is damaged beyond repair with one similar to that seen historically. And then we go into the demolition guidelines.
Sure.
And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the architect and the applicant are here as well.
Super. Very thoughtful design. Got just a few questions for clarification. On the back, are we getting new windows? Because they seem to match the existing windows. And the material on those new windows?
On the cast stone portion of Pratt and Denmark, will be aluminum clad, open door entry, a large window, and the vinyl windows that are in the dorm rooms, the vinyl, the grids inside.
Okay. And the cast stone, what's the size of these cast stone?
8 by 16, so they're the identical material that was the next building over at Andrew, photos, that are in the package, and layer in,
The grids on the windows, are they exterior
so we interior.
between the glass?
Again, a very thoughtful design. I think it as a nod to the front of the buildings. Great use of the back campus. I've seen that done other historic places, Washington and Lee, behind Colonnade, utilizing back campus, making it more accessible and user-friendly, and some security for the students as well. All right, as for the details, questions, comments, concerns?
The windows on the front of the building, they're not changing.
Right. Yep.
Take it off.
And well, and the package really helps.
Yes, beautiful.
Very well.
right, folks.
Interior grid.
Excuse me?
Should we talk about interior grid?
Well, you can go ahead and talk about the interior grid, sure. As indicated, though, this is the back of the building, and these windows, I believe, would match the windows for the new dorms on the other side of Boulevard that had been approved.
That's the current windows.
Now, these current windows are smaller, so we're expanding, taking the full opening. Is that right?
No, the same, just might be a little misleading. Yes, no, basically taking and replacing the window out.
Okay.
I've already put in.
It looked like you had larger windows for the original opening, is what it looked like.
On this, center column here, I'm just curious that the height of the peak at its highest point right there,
And the side of the window,
The height of the peak
right there, which one here?
above,
Above won't be higher than the actual roof line if you're looking at it from
No.
Boulevard.
You know, major project, but again, an awful lot to consider. But the package, cut to the chase. It answers the questions. Anything further? Is there a motion? A motion from Amanda to approve, a second from John. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Well done. Next item, BAR 1927, will be moved to next month's meeting, and we will revisit 1904. Jeffrey.
This is the Johnson Building, and so, and Alvaro is gonna help me with the exact placement, but, we are requiring them to do a access to the roof, for the equipment that is up there. And it's a little different than what I had before, but so this is the newest one. They would need to put a ladder basically up on the back of the building, and Alvaro can help me point out exactly where on the back it's going to be. It might actually be a little bit kind of around corner a little bit, but so it's kind of at the back, but on the side. And so we're looking at a ladder like this just to meet the code requirement to get access to the rooftop equipment. So that is the change that they're asking for tonight. We brought it back under the original application, that's the extension on that, so.
You know, it is a code requirement. And, you know, fortunately, it's going to be situated in such a manner that it's not going to be very visible at all.
Question for you. Does it not require a safety cage on the ladder?
Talked about that and,
Actually, I talked to Alan Beckman, the viewer, and he said that it may not require it. And I looked into it, and actually they're trying to phase out the cages. And so by the IBC, which is the International Building Code, the cage is not required. Option may require it. But based on what I just read, it may not be required anymore because it's not as safe. But if it's required, we'll do it. But if it's not,
Understandable, sure. You know, code issues beyond us, but, you know.
yeah, but the ABC code, which is what prevails, does not require it.
And before we move on this, gotta ask. The French doors on the front of the building, that's not what I recall being presented to us nor approved by us. The originals were very much in keeping with the updated contemporary look. We've worked really well together in modifications and painting brick. Those look like residential patio doors put on the front of this building, and it detracts from your wonderful design.
They're, yes, larger than the,
What?
I want to see them painted first, how it looks with the rest of the windows. They're slightly, I mean, yes, I can see that they're more massive.
Yes.
I agree.
So we approved one and now we're seeing another.
Okay. So I will go back to the owner and maybe get the door frames much smaller, not quite as wide.
I mean, it's such an attractive design. You did a marvelous job on it. We were all, I think, quite pleased with how you rejuvenated the building, and I was taken back and disappointed. Other comments? Thoughts on that?
So you're saying more glass, less frame.
Exactly. I mean, which is your original
It's a function of scale.
well-designed vision.
I'm more glad, yes.
Okay? So we look forward to that, but issue before us right now, the ladder required by code. Motion to approve. John, second. Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks again. You did great work. The minutes from last month's meeting were provided to us. Had an opportunity to review. The motion to approve. The motion from Mary Lou, second I see from Bill. All in favor? Carries. Anything further tonight? Thank you all very much. We stand adjourned.